The Mighty Whites podcast is recorded at the Don Bennison Recording Studio in Allerton Bywater. For more information, visit donbennison.com or email info@donbennison.com.
Hello and welcome to the Mighty Whites podcast once again. As usual, joined by Connie.
Hello.
And from Portland, KC.
Alan.
Right, we'll get straight into it because a lot of these games were a while ago. We had an extra week off just due to the international break and Connie being on holiday. It made it easier. Also got us to end at transfer window, so easy to do. But the day after our last recording, Fulham at home, 0-0 draw, which meant as first correct score prediction of the season, Connie had 0-0. So what did you think at game, Con?
I thought we looked solid without being spectacular. Fulham are a good team, we all know that in this league. They haven't had best of starts, but you'd imagine they're going to be up there come end. I think we've all predicted them to come pretty high up at end. It was another clean sheet. I think that's best you can take from it. Solid without looking spectacular.
Yeah, I thought we were looking like it could be an awful day, that first 15, 20 minutes. But we adjusted pretty quickly to them. And after that, we created a few chances. But got to say, in the end, probably a fair result. Yeah,
I'd have said a draw were fair from that game. I was worried too for the first 20 minutes. I mean, they hit post. They had a few good openings. We struggled to get his foot on ball. But after that, I genuinely thought we were a better side. Once we finally got into the game, I was very scared as I arrived at the ground, saw on Twitter that Connie Shaughnessy was starting. But in fairness to him, he was absolutely brilliant. He was a lot of people's man at match, and he was second in my ratings on altogether. He had a really good game, and I thought we could have nicked it if old shift dodger who's fucked off to Burnley now hadn't missed a sitter.
To be fair to him, yeah, he should have probably scored it. Last season, you'd have backed him 110% to stick it away, but end of the day, it wants to be. They had the chances as well. Wood's goal did look onside as well, to be fair. Yeah,
you'll have had a better view than me because you were in West End. I was in Cop, and from in the Cop, he looked about 5 yards offside. It was only after the game when I looked on Twitter and saw the videos that people had put up that I realised he was onside, because from where I wasn't annoyed at all because I thought he was miles off.
No, he were definitely on. There were, in my eyes, there were no doubt about it. But overall, they had the chances, we had chances. On another day, it could have been 2-2, who knows? But overall, I think a draw's fair enough, and another clean sheet.
Yeah, it was a good performance overall, and it was followed up by an even better one. The 2-0 win away at Sunderland, which we did actually all predict as winning, but I think that was more as being brash than all else, but we fully deserved it. It was another one where first 15 minutes was a bit untidy, but once we got on top in the game, especially after the first goal, I just thought we were just better than them in every department.
I think since point when Lewis Grabban cut back inside and had his chance where Cooper headed it onto the bar, we scored not long after. I think it may have been the break or the following attack we scored. From that moment on, we were a better team by a country mile. We just bullied them. And given the start that Sunderland had up to that point, I was really amazed about it. Just a solid all-round display, and it proved that there is life after Chris Wood.
The three men in midfield playing in behind the forward have been incredible as well. Like the combinations we've had, and I know you said at the start of the season you didn't want to see Hernandez playing, especially away from home. But if you look at the lineup we've been going with, and I know we'll kind of get onto it a bit later on as well, but any one of the combination of Roof, Saez, Hernandez, and Alioski, we have just got such an attacking threat there, and it's great to see them getting on the score sheet. Saez doing it against a good team. We kind of seen him in the League Cup, and you're like, League Two opposition. But then you've seen him do it against a team like Sunderland, and he's showing he's a quality player. And we have that in a nice amount of attacking threat now that I don't think we entirely had last season.
Yeah, Hernandez has proved me wrong in two very big ways. I said I wouldn't play him away from home. He's been brilliant away from home, and I said I wouldn't play Hernandez and Saez in the same team, and he's been great playing from the left. So it's another one where I'm delighted to be wrong. I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, you never mind, do you, when it's like that? But I think we all were thinking Saez and Hernandez very much. How's it going to work? But they seem to be making it work at the moment, and whatever that's the case, happy days. It's just nice to see some more goals coming in from midfield and out wide. For all, it were a good season last year, great season in many ways. We were a bit of a one-trick pony. Chris Wood won't firing, Leeds won't firing, whereas this season seems to be a different tale up to press. So, yeah, long may it continue.
Yeah, I mean, in this game, the defence was great again. Obviously, Cooper had his great clearance off the line, but he was just good overall in every way. Janssen, I thought, was absolutely terrific.
That block he put in, though, I forget what who had the shot. It may have been grabbing again. He just launched himself at it. Janssen-esque.
Yeah, it's very great to see. The only real negative to come out of this game was the Caleb Ekuban injury.
Yeah, I said before at the start of the season, I like the idea of him. I liked how he looked. He looks a bit of a unit. He'll put himself about. It sounds like he could be out for quite a bit, to be fair. But
yeah, there was a picture released of him in a hospital bed.
Yeah.
Saying he won't be too long, but if it's required surgery, it's not going to be for a week. It'll be...
No. But, hopefully he recovers well and quickly. And he's young enough, to be fair. So, sooner he's back, the better, because for the brief period that we did see him, it looked, like he had a bit of something about him at least. So, just wish him a speedy recovery.
Well, we'd best talk about him now, because it all happened in the build-up to this game. That at one point it looked like it might overshadow the game a bit, but it was that morning Chris Wood travelled with the squad and then decided he wasn't playing. Now, I will say, this isn't as bad as the Charlie Taylor not playing. There was a bid accepted and all of that stuff, whereas with Taylor there was no bid accepted or anything. He didn't really have a reason. But I think he'd have been fine if he'd have just not played. But that wanky statement he put out, due to strong interest from a Premier League team, the ongoing discussions with the club, and given it has always been my ambition to play at the highest level, I don't feel that it is right that I play today. I wish the team all the best and hope the lads can pick up the 3 points. That comes across way more like a twat than just not... they haven't picked him. He must be off to Burnley.
To me, when I read that, I just look at it and just think it's just two fingers up to the club. I'm sure that's not the case with Chris Wood. I'm not saying that, but when you read that statement, it could be quite easily taken out of the context, which I think it was intended in. It just seems like, it's always been my ambition to play at the highest level. Well, it's Leeds United's ambition to get back to that highest level as well, and with the best will in the world. Granted, we're not there yet, and Burnley are there on merit. We're a bigger club. I know that could cause a lot of things, and I'm not saying we've got any God-given right to be there, but, I just feel that, that, like you say, by releasing that, it's just... It muddied it a little bit for me. I think the club handled it brilliantly, and team responded great to it. I think it was just dealt with just like everything else has been since Radridan has arrived. We just made little of it, got on with it, and did what we had to do.
It was nice to hear Trevor Sinclair was on Football Focus as well. Basically saying about how much of an honour it is to play for Leeds, which I really enjoyed. Just laying into Chris Wood a bit. You can fully understand why he doesn't want to play. If he's on the verge of a big move where he's probably going to double his wages, then it's fair enough. I appreciate you don't want to get injured, but like you say, just don't go out. It just made things a lot worse, and all of a sudden we're just looking at him going, all right, fair enough, whatever, off you go.
Yeah, definitely for me. Should have just not tweeted it. To be honest, though, I was a little bit disappointed by the fee. I'd said the whole time that 20 was the absolute minimum, and we didn't get 20. I reckon it's 15 going up to like 18, 19. I'm guessing it's if they stay up. And
the club did say as well they'd got the money they wanted, so clearly we'd valued him at 15 million.
I think
around that anyway.
Sorry, Casey. I think at the end of the day, you got to look at it. Yeah, it'd be nice to get the 20 million up front. There's add-ons that could take it up to 18, 19 million, is it? Or something around that mark. For me, it depends how long these clauses stand for. I mean, if some of it is, we get £1 million if he scores 10 goals this season, it's a risky take. If the rest of it is based on him, I don't know, let's say staying up, provided that's only for this season and not over the next 2 or 3 seasons, it's a risk worth taking if it got the deal done and it got us possibly a bit more money. I mean, I don't wish him any ill. I hope he does well there. He's had a good start, scored in his debut, but I just think in this instance it'd have been best just keeping stum, just doing what he was doing. And I think everyone had kind of understood, as upsetting as it was, people kind of knew it wouldn't off him. So, yeah. I
bear him no ill will either. However, I can't say that for my dad, because he was just waiting on Spurs for his bet. And Chris Wood comes on, scores a 92nd minute equaliser. He's already left the team he supports, so he's already mad at him, and then he costs him like 450 quid as well with his goal. So my dad absolutely hates him now. But onto a happier game. Well, a happier second half of the game. First half we were
god-awful.
We were outplayed by Newport, who I thought were pretty good. But 5-1 win, hat-trick for Kemar Roof. Goal for size when he came on, goal for the error at the end. Roof very much staking his claim for the central strike as well, which he kept for Forest, as he should have. But I thought in the first half we were crap, and in the second half we were really good. Especially when Size and Alioski came on and they just took the piss out of him, basically.
I was pointing out to Jacqueline in the last game, in a game against Notts County, when I think it was...
Can I say, do you mean Port Vale? Because we haven't played Notts County.
Is it Port Vale? Yeah, there you go. We'll edit that. We'll edit that one out.
No.
But yeah, when we played Port Vale,
Atlanta Falcons.
I think it was in the last 5 minutes. Alioski was just stood there doing the slowest step over, and one of their centre backs. Did he get sent off? Was it a second yellow card for just kicking him?
Yeah, he got sent off for it, yeah.
It's very similar in this game when you see those two come on once we'd run the score a bit, just kind of coming out with their fancy footwork. You see a lower leaguer just thinking, I'm just going to kick you. It's just easier. Sias and Alioski are just so great to watch when they in a game like that, because it just turned into an exhibition towards the end. It was great to watch.
Yeah, I mean, me and you went to this one as well together. First half.
It was a double date, was it not?
Yes, it was.
It was, and I'll tell you what, we should take them more.
Yeah, what is it they've seen now? 9 goals and... Is it 9?
They've seen 9 goals, but more importantly, I've been going to watch Leeds for 21 years. And I'm not sure how many hat-tricks I've seen, but it's not all that many.
They've been to 2 games. Our
girlfriends have been to see 2 games and they've seen 2 hat-tricks from Leeds players.
Yep. But, yeah, like I say, me and you were there watching it together, and we were both just screaming and shouting at them that first half. It was almost like they were just in a daze, just like it were almost, I think there were an air of arrogance about them. We can show up and win, and obviously it's not the case, even against, League 2 opposition. But once we got us asses into gear and got us equaliser, we just kicked on, and we were a class above. I know Roof's overhead kick, both me and you were just in awe of it. It was a right finish, but
great goal.
The chip and all, I mean, I'm sure I speak for you as well. I thought for World that one in, especially the view we had of it.
Yeah, from Corp, the second he hit it, I thought it was in.
But, I mean, Rob Green, obviously, it turned out to be his last game for us. Made a bit of a cock-up for their goal. Should have really saved it, kind of palmed it up in air and it spun back. But after that, he did make a couple of good saves. I think it kind of summed up Rob Green in a nutshell when he was with us, Yeah, he did have an error in him, but for the most part, he saved us more than he cost us.
To give him some credit, I thought Newport were very good.
First half, definitely.
For the League Two side. And then when they brought Frank Newell on, who was like ex-West Ham and stuff, and he I think he's a bit now, not to the same extent, but I think he's a bit now Ranger in that he's struggling to get his head right.
Yeah.
But he looked a cut above playing in League Two. He looked really pacey and powerful. I know we had quite a young side out, but
still, there were
and he's quite young. He's only about 25 or something.
I was going to say, we're not talking about someone that's in twilight of his career here, Another thing I think we both picked up on was Vernon Anita. It's come out apparently that he did have a bit of a knock, but
he was injured, but I was still. There's no excuse for that performance. It was terrible.
Not only that, I think by Christiansen and all that, I'm going to have my first little popper at Thomas Christiansen. If Vernon Anita were injured, when he went in there at half-time, he shouldn't have come out for the second half. Now, whether Anita's let on that he's injured as much as he clearly was or not, I think that's where the medical staff and the coaching staff have kind of got to take it into their own hands there.
Yeah. I can understand them saying go out for 5 minutes and see if you can run it off, but he was on pitch for like 15 more minutes.
It's not,
and he didn't look right for any of them.
Well, he could hardly run. Yeah. It was almost like he was running through treacle. It just won. And I mean, it's the first and only time I've seen Vernon Anita play, be it for Newcastle Orals, where you've looked at him and thought, Jesus Christ almighty, what the hell is that? Normally he turns up and he just puts in a solid shift, doesn't he? But yeah, you just hope it were a knock. I mean, since then he's been back to form, and
I thought it was great against Forest. So.
Yeah, so yeah.
The other main thing out of this game, I suppose, is a couple of kids got a game. I shouldn't call Madga Gomez a kid. He's 20, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
sounds like we got some kids out of the stand. Just give a couple of kids a game.
Well, there'll have been a few of them brought boots. We know there's loads of kids do that. But no, Madga Gomez played on left and Owen Stokes played as number 10 behind Roof. I thought Gomez looked useful and I didn't think Stokes did at all, to be honest.
No, it were a bit worrying with Stokes. He looked kind of like a rabbit in headlights and in front of a half-full stadium against League Two opposition. It doesn't really bode well when you're a young prospect trying to break into what is a decent League One, what is a decent Championship team. So, yeah, bit of an iffy one with Stokes for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think for him, and it was very interesting listening to the Radio Leeds commentary, 'cause I think Noel Whelan was ready to go down and give the halftime team talk and give them a bit of a bollocking, because he was incensed when they came off at halftime, and he was saying the same thing of like, yes, we've made changes, but if these players want to be Championship players, they've got to start performing like it. It was simple things we weren't doing. Hopefully we will see him again, and hopefully he will learn from that game and kick on a bit from it. But it's not the best first impression.
No, the only other one was Matthias Klick made his first start. He looked okay. He didn't really get much into it. He started to dominate the ball a bit towards the end, but that was when Leeds were well on top. Like, it was a 6 out of 10, sort of not really much in it. In first half, he was poorer than that, but...
Yeah, I think he came on like the rest of them. He did basics right, little intricate passes, sideways passes, He just did basics right, He didn't particularly do anything wrong, I don't think he did. But, yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell yet with him. It's early days, isn't it, with him yet?
Yeah. But anyway, the next round... will be the first League Cup game where we start to care, I think.
Yeah.
Burnley away. I've said for years, cup draws are fixed.
We've got a decent record against Burnley recently. Actually, I'm just looking now. Since November 2012, we've played 6, won 4, drawn 1, and lost 1. We've actually got a decent record against them. They've been a decent team that whole time.
The one that sticks out for me, I think it was first season back up in Championship with Johnny Howson scored right late on.
Where we came back from 2-0 down.
Yeah, Turf Moor, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was
Screamer.
That was the one where I broke all professionalism. I was in the press box at St James's Park. Newcastle were playing Liverpool, and I was doing some work for one of local things up there. And obviously, we were at 3 o'clock, and that was a 5:30 kickoff. So Soccer Saturday was up on side, and I'm just sat there. Everyone's sat around doing work, and it comes up at bottom 3-2 Howson, and I jumped out of the chair, like, fucking get in! And just looked at like, fucking these young kids that don't understand the job.
But yeah, you never know. Charlie Taylor might get his arse off at bench as well. Who knows? He might actually see some football, bless him. But
I know he scored a scream on opening day, but Charlie Taylor is a better left back than Stephen Ward is.
Yeah.
He just is.
But be interested to see how they get on. Yeah, it's a decent test. Burnley have gone up, they've stayed up, so it'd be an interesting test. I mean, they've got some, it's not just about them two, I don't think. I mean, they're going to dominate the Taylor and Wood thing, of course it is, but they're a decent team, and depending on what side he puts out, it'd be a decent test, I think, for us.
Yeah, it should be interesting. But we had, I don't know if everyone agrees, but I definitely think our best performance of the season.
By a country mile.
Where 2-0 win away at Forest, I thought we were the better side for the entire match. I just thought everything that we did, we were better than them. They barely fashioned any real openings. They had a couple, but nothing major.
No.
And I just thought that we were great. And this was the game I was most pessimistic about. This is the first game this season where I thought we'd get beat. And, well, I couldn't have been further from truth. I just thought we were great in every way. Yeah,
I was away camping, so I missed the game. So I ended up watching the extended highlights, and like you say, it's one of the best performances I've seen in a while. You know, we played very well, but I know towards the back end of last season we ran out of steam as well. And again, I come to that just attacking line of, you know, Roof, Alioski, Hernandez, Saez. It's a great threat in this division, and at the moment, you know, at least one of them tends to be getting a goal in each game so far, which is, you know, a great thing to have.
Yeah, definitely. This was the one where I was away, and watched it in a bar with a few Leeds fans. Obviously, a good game to watch. For me, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it was best performance since the Derby game last season. I think it's up there, 100%.
Yeah, I still put the Brighton home win and the Derby one about the same.
Yeah, possibly.
So it might be the best one since Brighton, but it's not far away either way. It's
just everything about it. You know, and this is a Forest team that at that point they were 4th. Before kick-off, we were 6th. Obviously, they've had a good start. They've signed some decent players as well. Looks like they're a lot like ourselves in that it looks like they're finally getting it together. And
they too have got rid of a mentalist owner as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
For a different one, but he just seems to be doing a better job.
Yeah, he seems to be doing it all right. But
because this guy is definitely mental as well.
I think what it was with him was it was just how much we bullied him. And we just got stuck into him. I mean, me and you were talking earlier, and we also saw J-Roy grew up for the first time. We'll probably come on to later on, obviously, but the brief bit we saw of him, you know, he were knocking him about left, right and centre, and it's just not what I expected to see. But yeah, I think if we'd have said out of those 3 games,
well, we did.
We're going to get 7 points. We'd have been happy.
We all said we'd take 5, and if we're really serious, 7 would be brilliant. And we got 7. So
I mean, how we got them, it doesn't really matter how we get them, but it were, I think, unexpected how we got them. But either way, it doesn't matter at this point. There's points on board.
But yeah, goals from Roof and Screamer from Alioski. It was good to see Roof get another goal playing up front. He does appear that he was right when he said his best position is up front.
He took his goal well. You can't.
I thought
can't knock him.
Cooper's header across for him was well judged as well.
Yeah,
He just
definitely.
found Roof in acres.
Bit worrying over marking though for it, but either way, it don't matter for us. But to leave a centre half stood with 5-6 players just gawping at him, yeah. But
It was like watching us a couple of years ago.
yeah, pretty much.
And Alioski's goal, I mean, it was a brilliant finish, and everyone said it's not a new thing, but Phillips' tackle to set it up just came flying. When Phillips is like that, that's the player that he can be.
Yeah, definitely.
It was great. And a thing I can't believe I'm saying, actually, 4 straight clean sheets in the league.
Yeah.
Since Jansen's come back in, because he didn't play in the cup games either, we haven't conceded a goal with Jansen in the team yet.
No.
Q 4-0 defeat.
Yeah.
I've never been more attracted to a man than I have with Pontus Jansson at this point. He's just glorious, man. So kind and caring, and so rough in a tackle.
Yeah.
You know.
As you know, I like my little segues. As you're saying, so kind and caring, should probably bring up. Have you seen Pontus Jansson has bought some season tickets and given them to Leeds Children's Hospital to give to kids?
Just lovely. What what a nice gesture.
He gets it, doesn't he? He just completely gets being at Leeds.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, he seems like the sort. He'd probably do that at whatever club he was at. He probably would have done that at Torino.
Me and you had this conversation about Pontus Jansson, though. You know, but for all in public, he gives off this persona that he gets it, he cares, he wants to be here. But in terms of his ability and all, I look at him and I mean, take away the Leeds bias. Genuinely, you could put him in a few Premier League teams, I'd say, and he wouldn't make them any worse. Definitely not.
Without any... look at Arsenal's central back three in last game, where they're playing like Monreal at centre-back.
Yeah.
Well, Janssen would walk into that.
Of course he would.
Unless you're listening at Arsenal scouts. If Gilles Grimondi's listening, he's shit.
Yeah, ignore everything we've just said.
He's rubbish. You don't want him.
I think another thing and all that we've skimmed over a little bit is Liam Bridcut.
Yeah, he played for Forest, didn't he, in that game? And
Yeah.
I mean, he was a 6 out of 10 for them.
Yeah.
And he just didn't look as if he could keep up with our attacking mids, but no one in this league seems to be at it at the minute.
No.
Who was the tackle he got booked for? Who was it he tackled? Was it Alioski?
No, I thought it was Luke Ayling. Yeah, I think he did have... I'm not saying it was, but I did notice he had a bit of a spat with Luke Ayling.
There was just one late tackle.
I think that one was size, I think. I'm not 100%, but I think it was.
I've just left this club and now they're dicking my new club. Shit.
Yeah.
Best kick someone.
Yeah, and after all of that good defending, apparently both Pennington and Berardi will be back fairly soon.
Lovely.
Adds to what's already a good solid defence, doesn't it? It's fair play.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be bad, it'll be annoying for Everton, but there's no way that Pennington's getting back in the side at the minute. I'm sure that he will get back in at some point, but not now. Not with where Cooper and Janssen are playing.
It's a similar sort of tale to Taylor and Berardi, isn't it? Last season, you look at it and you think, yeah, Matt Pennington probably should be in there ahead of Liam Cooper, but based on his performances so far, no. Cooper's done nothing wrong. He's been solid. He's been everything that you've wanted him to be. He's been a perfect partner with Janssen and all so far. Well, it speaks for itself. We haven't conceded a goal. And his skipper, yeah. So you look at it and I think it'll do Pennington good to have to really work to get into this team, because if and when he does, he's going to have to put in a shift to get that, to keep it as well. I think it's a different case with Berardi because he's in a position where we can switch and rotate people round and get away with it as such. But again, as much as I like him, he's going to have to work hard to get back in this team, which isn't a bad thing.
Yeah, just say as well, like, interestingly, from the end of the transfer window, looking at our defensive situation, you look at Swansea have been able to bolster their defence. And now it looks like Kyle Bartley's going to get nowhere near that team.
Well, he won't do anytime soon because he's just done his knee.
And not only that,
injured as well.
Yeah, he's out for a few months.
not not only that, and albeit it were Man United, so we can kind of let it go a little bit, but the game where he has played this season for Swansea, he didn't cover himself in glory. He did make a few basic errors, but granted, it were against Man United. So.
No, the truth is, I mean, don't get me wrong, I will always like Kyle Bartley, but it's not like he'd get in this team at the minute.
Well, no.
He's good enough to, but it's the way that they're playing at minute. No one would. You can't improve upon what we're doing at minute.
Nope.
We've got a good 4 central defenders there now. It was one thing we were worried about, that we weren't going to have the depth there at central defence. But, Shaughnessy's putting some good performances now. We've got Pennington coming back from injury. Cooper and Janssen are in form. There is nowhere to fit another defender in there reasonably.
I mean, don't get me wrong, even, but as we know from last season, Janssen's always good for the booking. So at some point, Pennington is going to get back in at some point. You would imagine sooner rather than later.
He's not been booked yet, has he?
No, I don't think he.
I don't think he has, which is very unlike him. But based on previous, you'd imagine that he's going to pick up a suspension along the way. So it's nice to know that if and when that becomes an issue, we've got capable cover waiting in wings, which in past we've not really had, have we?
No, we haven't had anything like that, have we? Up until quite recently. As we've just mentioned, Liam Bridcut, £1 million. Christensen said he wanted to keep him, but I don't blame him for not wanting to stay and be 4th and 5th choice. No. Fair enough. We've had
two Christians who didn't want him to go.
Yeah, he was one of your boys, wasn't he?
He was a boy.
I liked him. I still do. I liked. Ever since he kind of broke through and had his breakout season at Brighton a few years back. I've always liked him. I like his style, everything. But I think it were kind of not to the extent, but it would kind of like another Sol Bamba sort of issue. You don't go from being captain to absolutely nowhere near and being like 5th choice at centre midfield. It were best for him that he went, and I don't think he wishes any ill will to Leeds, to be honest, given what I've heard and seen since. Yeah.
Now we may as well go through everyone that left. We've released Diagoraga. Not really much to say. He was fine. We knew it was coming anyway. It's just been confirmed now.
Yeah.
And Rob Green has gone to the Dog Botherers on a free.
Fair play to him. He's going to get one. He's probably doubled his wages, maybe, just to sit on bench.
Yeah, if he's going to sit on the bench at both clubs, he might as well do it on more money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice to have him here for a year. He was a good keeper for the most part. But, yeah, if he's going to be second choice, then fair play to him to let him move on.
Yeah, we may as well talk about him now. We've replaced him with Andy Lonergan.
He's back!
Now, you see, when we had him last time, when we had him last time, I think he was on an hiding to nothing, really, Andy Lonergan. He came in when, he replaced Casper for one, which,
tough gig.
Yeah. And he came in at a time when we started asset stripping. And, he didn't really do all wrong. He was solid enough. It was just he wasn't as good as Casper Schmeichel. I think that was the main thing.
Say he didn't do anything wrong, but he did get injured. And because of him getting injured, we did get to see Paul Rahubka playing.
Sure,
yeah, Rahubka. Oh, that's all Andy Lonergan's fault and his finger.
Yeah, was that the same season that we had Alex McCarthy on loan as well?
Yes.
Yeah, because he was good.
He was good. That's
when
Alex Cairns made his debut.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Oh, speaking of Alex Cairns, have you seen that he is pretty much the highest rated goalkeeper in the lower leagues at the minute?
Yeah. It's been awesome for Fleetwood, isn't it?
Yeah, for Fleetwood. Drawing praise from De Gea.
That was incredible to see that triple save he pulled off. It was incredible. Like, fair play to him.
Yeah. Through deadline day yesterday, there was 2 or 3 teams linked with like £2 million moves for him and stuff.
I think Palace were mentioned, weren't they?
I'm hoping that, obviously it's not going to happen now, the window's shut, but like in January or something, I hope he don't go anywhere to sit on the bench. Because he's clearly doing him world of good playing first team football. And speaking of, don't you wish Bailey Peacock-Farrell was out on loan?
Yep. Although your predictions come true.
Well, it hasn't come true yet. I said
No.
I said if he gets first team football, he'll get a cap, and without first team football, he's in the squad for their World Cup qualifiers.
Yeah.
No, fair play to him. Like, he's clearly, even in the under 23s, he's doing something right. What I've seen of him, he's looked half decent. Not to say that I've seen a whole lot of him, but yeah, it'd be nice to see if he could, ideally if we could get him out on loan. That probably can't. The loan window's closed now, isn't it? As well, they don't have the emergency loan window anymore, do they?
Yeah, that's gone. The only loans you can do now is you can still loan to people outside the Football League. So if we wanted to send a couple of kids to Guiseley or something, we can still do that.
Which I don't know if that would help him in any way.
No, it's way too low level for him.
Until January then, and hopefully then we can move him on. Because all he's going to do here is, would he even be splitting his time in the under 23s with Lonergan? Because to have two of them, you expect Lonergan's going to want some sort of football, regardless. I know he'll probably play in the cup, but
that's one thing I was just about to ask you to. Personally, for Burnley game, I'd pick Peacock Farrell ahead of Lonergan.
Yeah, 100%. I think in signing him, we've just kind of continued the issue that we had with Rob Greenwood here. Not to the same extent, but it's like KC's just said, Andy Lonergan's going to want some football. You've got a young kid there in Bailey Peacock Farrell who's now kind of dropped back down to third choice again. To me, he should be second choice or out on loan, as we've discussed previously. But I'd play him against Burnley, 100%.
I would hope that. Hopefully we're still in the League Cup, but even if we're not, when the FA Cup rolls around, I would hope it would be Lonergan that we pick in, because Bailey Peacock Farrell on the 1st of January has gone out somewhere till the end of the season to be first choice somewhere. Yeah. That's what I would really hope for. The last of the Signal 6 I got, he is gone. Suleiman Dikara to Osmanlispor on a free. Taps nose. Yeah, he was he was shite, wasn't he?
I think taking away for this game and a few good performances, he'll forever be the man who made Matt Smith have to go. that's how I remember Suleiman Dikara.
Yeah, just you saying a few good performances. I've actually copied this over. You're all Leeds fans. Most of you will have Twitter, so you'll probably follow Amo. Goodbye, Suleiman Dikara. You coming on away at Wolves in the mind, body and soul of Roberto Baggio remains the weirdest thing ever. Which, it is the best performance he ever had in the Leeds shirt. When he came on and he was just unbelievable. Yeah.
I was going to say, me and Jack always share that volley, because we were sat perfectly side on to it, just grabbing hold of each other.
Yeah, we did have a great view.
Not entirely sure how it had happened.
Yeah, a great view from the most underrated part of Ellen Road, the northwest corner.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm glad he's gone. He's off the wage bill. That's the most important thing. And he wasn't even on that much money, but still, he needed to be off the wage bill. You look at the attacking mid options we've got now, and he did play like on the left and stuff a lot more than he played up front for us.
100%. Yeah.
So he needed to go. We've only had one more out, and it's a loan. Malik Wilkes.
Good.
Signed a 1 year extension, so he's not up at end of season now, and he's gone to Accrington Stanley.
Who are they?
Exactly.
Hey.
Thank you.
Didn't even rehearse it. Yeah, good to get him out on loan. Again, another one who probably needs to get some experience in before we consider putting him into the first team squad on a regular basis. And good to see that he got a goal on his debut as well, even if they couldn't spell his name right.
Yeah, that was annoying. Wilkes.
Yeah. I think it needs a bit of football. It's good that we've given him a 12-month extension, gives us a bit of short-term commitment, but a bit of flexibility with him and all if it don't work out. So just keep an eye out really for it and just see how he gets on. He's gone down to a level where he's going to play every week. He could get a bit of confidence if it all goes well. So time will tell with him, won't it?
Yeah, good move from KC's point of view, because Accrington and Stanley are a team he's got a bit of a soft spot for as a former season ticket holder.
Former season ticket holder. Went to 2 games, but it was that cheap. It's when I was at uni in central Lancashire. I say uni. But yeah, and I think it's another good thing for him to be playing at that level, because if nothing else in terms of his technical ability, it's just going to help toughen him up a bit if he's coming up against League Two defenders, just big, strong blokes essentially bullying him around. It'll probably do him a bit of good to experience that, and hopefully it'll encourage him to kind of strengthen up a little bit.
Yeah. How much was a season ticket there, KC? Was it 50 quid?
I think it was 45 quid, I think it was, or 50.
For a student season ticket.
Yeah, when you think of that, what, 25 quid for a game, still not bad value.
I genuinely think that it's more than that. The first lower league club I ever had to do coverage for like journalistic work, which was Sunderland RCA. I think a season ticket at Sunderland Rye Hope Community Association was more than that. I think it was 50 there. So, but yeah, well, there's quite a lot of ins because we're going to cover a lot of the young players. But before that, there's been one new contract since the flurry of them that we talked about on the last podcast, and it was one that really made me happy because I wasn't sure it was going to happen. But Stuart Dallas, new 3-year deal. And apparently Norwich were sniffing around. It's nice to be able to stop them nicking one of his players for the first time in about 7 years.
Yeah, it's brilliant to see. I know we all said this is a big year for Stuart Dallas. And to press, when he's been called upon, he's done a job. His goal against Sunderland were a belting finish. It were a goal that I just wouldn't have dreamt Stuart Dallas had scored in a thunder bullet header. But
thunder bastard, I believe.
Yeah. But when he's being called upon, he's done business. So yeah, and it's nice to see us giving him a decent amount and all, a 3-year deal, not just a 12-month extension. It sends out a sign of intent to teams like Norwich, and the likes that, we're not going to be pushed around. You're not just going to waltz in and take us players. It's good to see finally. Yeah,
and it's been quite interesting because I know Christiansen has come out and said that he has a part to play in this team as well. And like you say, we've had a lot of praise for Saez, Alioski, Hernandez, but from the performances he's put in so far, I do think Dallas could easily make himself a starter in that if he's given the opportunity. So far he's proved his worth, at least in the squad. So it's good that we've got that depth there in those attacking options as well. Another player who can contribute a couple of goals for us through the season.
Right, well, there's been a few ins, as we were saying, but we'll go through under 23s first because there's been a lot, and the club have finally confirmed a load of ones that we've already talked about. Because it does appear that Twitter account is right about everything. It must be run by someone from within it.
You mean that one where all these young lads were turning up and just wearing training kit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've confirmed Alejandro Machuca and Adrian Balboa. They're both 3-year deals. Oriol Ray, 2 years. Kun Temenuzhkov, who's the one that I've decided with zero evidence is going to be a world beater. Because he's got a great name and he's only 17. He's apparently 3 years with an option of a 4th, from what I've seen. Osama Siddiqui from Real Madrid. It didn't say a length of contract. I've read a few things a while ago that said 3 years, so we'll go with that. Yeah. But we've already talked about all of them, but there's been a few since the last one. First one, and I know he's definitely been playing, is at right back, Bryce Hosanna from Crystal Palace. The stuff I've read in local press down there, they seem to think he was decent.
Right.
But no better than that. Hugo Diaz, who's a 20-year-old centre-back / right-back, who all the evidence I've found says we've signed him from Deportivo, although the Leeds website says we've signed him from Huesca.
All the evidence I have makes him sound like he's part of a drug cartel. But
that's just straight-up racist. You've been living in America too long.
I think it's from playing Grand Theft Auto Vice City too long. He just sounds like he'd be on that.
Fair enough. Joe Stanley, who's 16 years old, left back from Sheffield United. Never heard of him. Now we're on to the two where I actually know stuff about it. I googled this guy because I saw his name today and it rung a bell. Just one of them weird ones. Joshua Ray, 16-year-old keeper. And I thought that it might ring a bell with Connie, but apparently it slipped through.
Yeah.
Keeper, we signed him from Celtic about the look of it. But a few years ago he was in the press because he was like massive. He signed for Celtic, turned down like Liverpool and Everton and a few others. Because he made his first team debut for Hamilton Academicals under 20s. First team debut for under 20s? That's not a thing. He made his under 20s debut when he was 13 years old.
Yeah.
And he played and all big clubs started sniffing around. He went and had a trial with Atletico Madrid. It's a bit like... oh God, what's this? The right back / right winger that we had that were looking at scum and went to Atletico Madrid. Elliot Kebby.
Oh, yeah.
Similar story to that, only a bit younger. But Aki's had a thing, didn't they, at that time for sticking young kids in? Because didn't like James McCarthy get some first team football at 14 or something?
Yeah, we were both screaming to sign him and all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Wigan got him instead.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's one of them at 16. I'd say his name rung a bell. I'm sure I've read that in press somewhere, and that's why. So 3 years ago, he was rated as being like Scotland's next number one keeper.
It's Alan Martin.
And yeah.
Just think, KC, one day we may be able to shout at him to get Lubo.
Yeah.
One day Jack may urinate alongside him.
Yeah, it's true. Good, nice man, Alan Martin. Pissed next to Alan Martin. Really awkward when I just looked up to the side and went, sorry mate, I know this is a really awkward time to ask, but you're Alan Martin, aren't you? Yeah, cool. I'll be keeping an eye on him because he was rated quite highly. Whether he was just so good as a keeper at 13 because he was 13 years old and he was already 6'1", whether it was just a case of the big kid that developed early. It does sometimes happen.
I wonder how tall he is now.
That I don't know. I couldn't find anything on that. You would think he'd be a decent build for a keeper either way.
You'd have thought so if he were that size at 13.
Yeah, but that one was, I think, confirmed. He was on the article on the website, where they just confirmed the schoolboys that they've signed.
Yeah.
He was at the bottom of that list. So I'm guessing that one is done. This one is the only one that the club haven't confirmed yet. But again, it was on that Leeds United Academy Twitter page that has been right about everything else. Oliver Sarkic, 20 years old, Montenegrin youth international. Signed him from Benfica. He had I did a bit of Googling. He had 18 games on loan for what I'm guessing is pronounced Faith, but I don't know.
I got Faith. Sorry.
Yeah, in third tier in Portugal. He didn't score that many, but they did get promoted and he played a lot of games. And obviously it's not a great standard of football or anything, but he did something. He played in that UEFA Youth League that they only let the Champions League clubs play in.
Yeah.
3 goals in 6 games for Benfica in that. Which isn't too bad. And quite a few games for Benfica P. But he'd been on trial at Swansea all that summer. Because I found that he'd been playing. I found a couple of match reports from like the local Belfast press because they had a tour that it just said. A couple of them actually mentioned that he looked quite good in the first game especially, but that might be because they thought it was someone else because they say he scored and Swansea's website says he didn't. So I have no idea. But he's already 20, so it's a bit of a punt. But I'm assuming that none of these are going to be on any money. I think the main reason that he's in England is some of that discovered by accident. Matthias Sarkic is his twin brother, and he's a goalkeeper for Villa, and he's just gone on loan to...
Yeah, I'd seen that. He's moved, hasn't he, on deadline day?
Yeah, he went on loan to Wigan.
Fair enough, yeah.
He signed at the same time as Alex Bruce.
Lovely.
He was actually on bench for Villa against Leeds last season.
Fair enough.
With Sarkic. But when I googled that Oliver Sarkic, there was some press articles from like 3 years ago before he went to Benfica. Benfica signed him off Anderlecht, and you know what Anderlecht's academy's like.
Yeah.
They produced loads, and apparently Benfica have beat like Liverpool and Spurs and Juventus, and all of these clubs were all after him at one point. So maybe he's got some ability, maybe he just didn't work out and he's needing to work his way back up, but hopefully he's got a bit of
starting to
talent.
imagine now with all these kids we've signed, we've put them in a house and we're going to film it and it's going to be for LUTV, a Leeds United version of Big Brother, essentially.
It's going to be like Ultimate Fighter.
No, it's going to be Leeds' version of that documentary where Alan Smith was down at the thing that was replaced with St George's Park.
World at their feet. Still,
that one.
Alan Smith and Francis Jeffers.
Jesus, the dream.
And Stuart Taylor. He was there as well. Learning how to be a number 2.
In fact, the weird thing is, I'm fairly sure that the only reason I saw that was because KC showed me it when we were like 10.
I'm sure I still have it on VHS somewhere in the house.
Anyway, onto the proper signings. We've already mentioned the first one a little bit. J. Roy Grott, the big hulking mammoth of a man.
I'm well impressed with this one, if I'm being honest. When I heard about him, when I've seen him, I like him, and I know it's a big statement to make, but the way he carries himself, way I've seen himself, not saying he's going to be as prolific, looks a bit like Hasselbank.
Imagine if we had him and Rodolphe Austin in a team together.
Jesus Christ.
There'd be dead people everywhere.
But no, he looks and sounds like there could be something there with him. I really hope so.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that you worry about when you sign a player from somewhere like Holland is you're worried, are they going to get bullied in English leagues? He's not.
Nah.
It's the one thing you can guarantee. I mean, he had a couple of touches where he looked a little bit clumsy, and he had a couple of step-overs where he looked quite technically adept. So, it's way too soon to tell. We've seen him play 20 minutes. We've no idea, really.
Nah.
But I think it's certainly a good idea of a deal. Apparently, it's $750,000 up front. NEC's director has said that there's a transfer fee, a bonus structure, and like a sell-on clause as well. So I reckon all in, it's like $1.5 million and maybe some sell-on.
To be fair, for a club like Nijmegen, you can't fault them for protecting themselves and getting best out of it that they can get.
They needed
fair
to.
enough.
And apparently, he was off to Fiorentina at one stage, but they couldn't get the ducks in a row.
But that when you can't line up $1.5 million.
Yeah, I think it might have been a personal terms thing, but I don't really
It's
know.
so crazy now that we're signing these players for $1.5 million, and yet you're watching transfer deadline day and ridiculous sums that players get. Even Chris Wood going for 15 million, and we're replacing him with someone who cost 1.5.
Well, it's like I said earlier on. Genuinely, just the money from Charlie Taylor and Chris Wood covers all our transfers.
Yeah.
It won't cover everything because our wage bill will be higher this year. Even though we've managed to ship on a lot of players, we've brought in a lot. As wage bill will have gone up.
Yeah.
But if you've brought in a bit of profit and stuff and your wage bill goes up, that's not really an issue.
No, not at all. And I dare say attendances will have crept up a little bit due to the feel-good factor around
just like last time, it is too soon to tell, but so far it is. And it looks as if we've sold quite a lot of tickets for Burton already, and that's Burton.
Yeah.
So if we get, let's say, 32 for Burton, that bodes really well.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I mean, then you might get like 28, 29 for Birmingham on a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
And suddenly you're looking at a really decent crowd.
I think Burton game, though, I think it'll just be a case of a lot of people just being up all night for Luke Murphy.
I will.
We spent some time talking about the ticket prices as well, and not to go on to it, but it's been good to see that we've got off to this strong start to the season at least, and while we're in this position, we've seen plenty of investment over the last couple of months. So at least when you're paying ticket prices like that, you're at least seeing something happening with that money, whereas before when under Bates prices were going up, we'd lose players and replace them with Michael Brown, who we will come on to shortly.
I was going to say, while you're on the subject of ticket prices, they have listened. There's a deal where you can buy for Burton and Birmingham, and you get like a third off or something.
So yeah, it's 30% off, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So then suddenly, I mean, if two lots of 60 quid, but you're getting all of a sudden that's a really good deal.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And we did say at the time, it depends. If they do some good deals and stuff, then that's fine. And it looks as if they are. So
If
they
you're
listen.
not filling the ground completely, then yeah, well, you might as well do these deals. Again, in the last few years, it's very rarely have we done any sort of deals for tickets.
They did some a couple of years ago because we got some, didn't we?
I think that was first year back up in Championship. QPR and Portsmouth it was over Christmas.
And I knew it must have been a while ago because it was before you had a season ticket.
Yeah, definitely. But first year back up in Championship.
It's not been something we've done on a regular basis, and it just makes sense if you're going in, especially maybe a week or two out from a game, and clearly we've still got 5,000 seats, then we might as well put a deal on, for the upper tier of the stand to get people in.
I would think that they do that every time like this. So if we've got a home game Saturday, and a home game Tuesday, then they should do it every time. Unless it's a weird thing in Cup and we've got Man United at home and then
that sells itself anyway. Yeah,
then don't bother. But other than that,
it's not only that. I mean, I think I mentioned it in past when it came up over ticket prices and all. Fair enough, you're reducing the price of the actual match day ticket, but if you get a few more people through the door, they're going to be, these people could be going down. It's what else to spend when they're at ground as well. All goes into coffers at end of the day. And they're going into club shop buying shirts for kids that they might bring along for themselves. They're going to eat there. It all adds up. So, it is good. I mean, what they're losing in one sense, they're going to potentially gain more in another. So, yeah.
Anyway, that was a sidetrack from transfers, wasn't it?
Yep.
Anyway, the second one, the first of two actual deadline day deals, although that Sarkic one apparently was as well. Right. Bit awkward because it says Kibicki, but I'm fairly sure it isn't that. So Pavel, I think it's Kibicki.
Yes, there's a video. It's a video.
That's what it sounded like he said to me.
Yeah, the one on Twitter, I listened to it about 5 times because the music in the background didn't help.
Yeah. That was quite awkward actually. They did the video and it was 7 seconds long. And then a load of people just put, if you'd have made it 6 seconds, it'd loop. But Pavel Kivitsky, forward, can play on wings, $1.5 million from Malmo. And not in Antonsen's way where we're joking, legitimately mates with Janssen from being, 16 or whatever. So I've been looked at for ages. When you look at the press stuff on him from January, he was being linked with everyone. Scum, Ajax, Celta Vigo, Napoli. Everyone was looking at him. And the good thing is we've got quite a lot of Leeds fans over there, so they've been quite vocal on Twitter about him. They've all said loads of talent, can't be sure whether it'll work out or not. They all rate him higher than they did Antonsen by the look of it.
I was just going to say, I don't think you ever can when you bring in players in from Swedish league. It's very hit or miss. If they're a hit, brilliant, and they really are. But as we've seen with Antonsen, it sometimes just don't work out. I hope it's not the case, obviously, with him. I hope he hits ground running. It's good again that we've signed another player that's versatile up there. He can play across the line. It bodes well calibre of teams that were apparently sniffing round him in January. I can't really add much more to it because I've not seen anything of him. So
he's another one where I've seen clips from YouTube.
Yeah,
and I think I did actually watch him play for Swedish under-21s once, but I don't really remember.
Hopefully, it's quite good to have a player who's got a bit of versatility in as well. We were talking earlier about the depth we have in each position. But it's just nice that we have those options of players who, can play out in the wing and can play up front. Just to be able to change things around during a game if we need to.
Yeah, well, both of those are 4-year deals, yet more decent length contracts from Radrizzani. But the biggest deal could well be just 1 year.
Yeah.
The big one, this is a proper could go either way. Because he's definitely good enough. It's just everything you read says good enough, can't get out of his own way, really of himself, can have an attitude issue.
Yeah.
But the thing with players like that is if it goes well, they become your favourites. But Pierre-Michel Lasogga, season-long loan from Hamburg, he's on 50 grand a week, but I haven't seen anywhere say we're paying any. The maximum I've seen is we are paying half, and I've seen some places saying it's as low as a quarter. And I mean, if it's a quarter, that's really not bad. If we're only paying him like 12.5, 13 grand a week, that'd be...
No, it's not at all. I mean, obviously, there's only a club that know how much of it they're going to be actually paying, but I think we all touched upon it in last one. I'm reserving judgment. He's here, and wherever he's here, I'll back him. But it's a gamble.
It's a big gamble.
One.
But he could be the difference.
He could be, but equally, he could be a disruptive influence as well. I hope not, and I'd love nothing more to be sat here in 2 or 3 months' time saying, yep, fair enough, they've worked the magic with him. He's the player who was around a couple of years ago and is doing job, but personally, I'm just glad that we've got other options up there and all, just in case. I'm not saying that, it's the answer, but we've got options, which is nice because it's a big gamble. I just hope it pays off.
Well, sometimes you have to just take the word of a hero. And Tony DeRigo said, the Lasogga I saw in 2013-14 was a perfect player for us to sign. 15 goals in 24 games in a struggling side. Calculate gamble. 1-0. He's basically saying that he reckons if we get him playing, everything I've read is if we get him playing, he's better than Wood.
Yeah.
And that'd be perfect.
So the issue now is, we've looked and we've got 5 options for strikers now, at 4 or 5. If he's not featuring, because at the moment I wouldn't particularly want to stop Kemar Roof. He's had a couple of good games up front, so he deserves to keep his place there. As if he doesn't get into the team straight away, then is that going to cause an issue? Hopefully not, or hopefully he just proves to be of a quality that he deserves to be playing. But like you say, it is that risk. But fortunately, if he does look like he's not going to be featuring too much, or he's going to be an issue, at least it does look like we might be able to send him back.
Yeah.
Potentially we could, but it does mean that if it does go badly, the worst we're going to have is a player for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think actually I did read somewhere that his Hamburg contract's up at the end of this season.
Right.
So if he did happen to bang in, 20 goals between now and end of season as Leeds win the league, then we could probably bring him in on a free next season. But I think it is just about which version of him shows up.
Yeah.
And I do think, as much as I have my reservations about him, I think it's a gamble worth taking.
Yeah, based on what they're saying we're paying him. I mean, even if it is £25,000 a week,
that's not that much now.
It's not.
It is for Leeds United, but it's not for the Championship.
No, not at all. And I think had we managed to get Chris Wood to stay, we'd have been paying him a damn sight more than £25,000 a week.
Yeah, well, he was already his highest paid player, I reckon.
Yeah.
And so I think he was on about, at least like 19, 20.
Yeah.
That new 3-year deal we offered him will have been at least 30.
It'd have had to have been in order for him to...
Because he's probably on 50 at Burnley.
Yeah, definitely. So, if we get him right, and it's a big if, then like you say, it's a chance worth taking, but I'm reserving judgment yet.
Yeah, I put on Twitter, I'm taking a shot. 15 league goals. Taking a shot.
I wouldn't complain. It'd be a decent goal for his first season.
I hope you're right.
Yeah. Right, well, that's all the transfers anyway. So overall, out of 10, what would you give this window? This transfer window for Leeds United?
9.
Ooh.
9 is high.
Yeah.
I'd probably go about 8.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's played. It's amazing that we've managed to come in through a window. You look at his team last season, and we've lost a starting keeper, what many thought was his best centre-back, one of his better midfielders, his main goal threat centre forward. We've lost all of them, and we're all delighted.
A youth product and all that's come through.
Yeah. I mean, we've lost probably on his day the best left back in the league.
Yep.
We've lost all these players and we're all delighted with how the club's done. And it just shows the difference when you get run something like...
I think the only thing that's holding it back from being even higher for me is we didn't sign someone who were more nailed on. I know it's always a risk a new signing, but I think had we got someone other than Lasogga and we'd have got someone even who'd been playing in England, I'd have given it a 10, personally.
Yeah,
because
I'm with KC. I'm about an 8. Purely because we can't know yet whether they're any good.
No.
If they're as good as I think they're going to be, then we'll be a 9.
Yeah.
But it's amazing the start to the season we've had with the players that we keep talking about, in terms of Saez, Alioski, just players like that, where it seems like some effort has been made to scout them properly and think they might work, as opposed to going on Football Manager, contract status expired. Oh, he's around, get him in. We've actually put some effort in. We looked around. Orta has done a great job in finding these players who seem to, when they've played so far, seem to have fit in pretty well. It's just nice for a change.
Well, speaking of player comparisons made on Football Manager at Leeds United, his first game is against Burton Albion, where Luke Varney is.
Wow.
Who was it that we didn't sign because Luke Varney was better on FM?
Oh, I can't.
He were good as well.
Because it was a Salim Patel job on it, I think. But there was someone, and I can't remember who it was.
It was probably Billy Sharp.
Yeah.
What were we looking at? Wasn't we looking at Jay Rodriguez or something at that point?
It wasn't Jay Rodriguez. I would know if someone said it, but I just can't remember at the minute. I'm sure it'll come to me. You'll hear me like shout it out for no reason. Well, there's been the odd little bit of news outside of transfers, not all that much, but there was only one real bit. Michael Brown is as full of shit as we thought he was.
Michael fucking Brown, the fucking liar. Fucking hate Michael fucking Brown.
I think the minute he said it, we all know he's a dickhead. What a dickhead when he played for us, he's a dickhead as a manager. So, yeah, just move on.
Yeah. No case to answer.
Surprisingly, a very Neil Warnock response from him.
Yeah.
Shock horror.
Yeah, that was the only bit really of non-transfer related news, because you know what it's like in stuff like this. But there's two main things that I wanted to just talk about before we preview upcoming games. Number one, I think this will be short. Is there any hope for Hadi Saka?
No.
Poor Hadi Saka. Not at the moment. He's not even getting on the bench, is he, poor lad? He's...
To be fair, he says he's been injured. I don't know if I believe him.
Yeah, I was going to say...
I don't think it'd make a difference.
Never been mentioned in a press conference or anything.
No, the problem is, we've just signed... I mean, he was signed before Christensen came in.
Yeah.
And at that point, he was a good option. And it's not his fault that we've signed like 3-4 better players.
Nope, not at all. But at the moment, with options we've got, no.
No, I was surprised. The only reason I think he really might be injured is because if he wasn't, I think he'd have gone out on loan. Yeah,
probably so. But, I mean, and I like Hadi Saka. He's willing. He can't cross the ball to save his life, but he's willing and he'll run and he'll work for you, which is a good quality in this league. But technically wise and everything else, just nah.
Yeah, I thought that'd be as short as that. I mean, I like Hadi Saka, and no.
No.
But the bigger one, it's obviously a transfer deadline day were yesterday, and you saw all the mental stuff, and we signed a couple, and a few others did, and a couple went out. Should the transfer window be shut, like a few days before the first game of the season?
Yeah, 100%. I think it should be brought in across Europe, however far you want to do it.
The difficulty with that, I'll just say now, because people will be screaming it if we don't. Not all leagues start at the same time.
No, they don't. But I think for the first one they did, it would cause ructions, but I think it'd be one of them ones after you've done it once, it'd just become the norm. It takes away from some of the issues we've seen in Premier League, like Liverpool with Coutinho, Southampton with Van Dijk. I could go on. We've seen the old Danny Drinkwater thing. I could go on and on and on with it. I just think if it's all done, dusted, and everyone knows where they stand before the ball's kicked at the start of the season, it just stops all this unnecessary, soap operas that, start and are always around at the start of every season. And not only that, it's not fair to these clubs. It don't matter how big they are. Look at Liverpool with Coutinho. Someone bigger was about trying to poach players off of them, and it just causes all uncertainty. Coutinho's now left in a...
It's kind of hard to have sympathy with Liverpool.
It is.
Because of Southampton.
It is, but, look at Southampton with Van Dijk. They've been deprived of arguably the best player, and it just causes a lot of uncertainty. Situations can get quite nasty between player and club, but it could just be all nipped in bud, I think.
No, I agree. I would. I'd still have one in January.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
But I think that it should be done, not necessarily right before the season, but if they said... Because the problem is now it's like 3.5 weeks into the season. If they had a cut-off that was earlier, if they did something like the 10th or 12th of August, so it was a little bit of leeway, then some leagues wouldn't quite started, some would be a week in. I think it'd be a bit better than having 4 weeks, because you can... What if you get your team playing and you've built it around one player?
Well, you look at us. If this had been last season, let's base it on us and last season. We're 6 games in now, are we?
Yeah.
Or 7 games? 6 or 7 games in?
In the league, we are 5. 3 wins, 2 draws.
Yes. So, you're talking now, you're coming up to half a dozen games. Like you've just said, your team's starting to take shape now. At the start of the season, them first few games when Chris Wood were playing, it were all based on what it were based on last season. Yeah, we had more, about us in terms of we could spread threat out across the midfield and the wings, but ultimately we're all about Chris Wood. And, as it happens, it's not caused us that much of an issue, but it could have done quite easily.
One thing I think as well, it'd probably be better for the players for it to start early, because you get a player that plays 1 or 2 games for, in the example of Chris Wood, say, and I'm not saying this is what's going to happen to him. He's played games for us. He moves to Burnley. He's already played for Burnley. But if things don't work out for him there and he drops out of the team, he can't go anywhere else for the rest of the season. It's not like he can go out on loan because he's already played for his 2 teams that season. So he's...
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think of that.
So he's then stuck.
Speaking of, have you seen the Alex Bruce
No.
thing? Alex Bruce, in order to get fit, went to train with Bury, and they were short on players, so he signed non-contract terms with them and played.
Yeah.
And he scored on his debut against Wigan, and now his non-contract terms are up, and he's gone to Wigan. So he only played like 2 games for Bury, scored against Wigan, and then went to Wigan.
Wigan have went, ooh, get him in, he's good.
Basically, he had a trial in a league game that mattered.
But I just mean, like,
Alex trialist.
if you fall out of favour at a club, then by November your season could be over as a player. Just sat around playing, training and not getting anywhere near the team. So if all the transfers are done before the start of the season, then at least if things don't work out for you at your new club, there's still the opportunity for you to go out on loan and do something.
Yeah, you could go in January.
It's not, like you've just said then, an ex-player of ours, McCormack, last season. Now, had he played a couple of games for Fulham, and then what happened at Villa, he'd have been stuck, he'd have been knackered. That move to Forest couldn't have happened, and yeah, he's right. I mean, we didn't even think about it.
No,
so.
I didn't even think of that part of it, but that's a really good point.
Yeah.
That it just takes you out totally.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, let me say, it won't happen. It won't happen in a million years. There's too much money in it for it to happen. But.
Well, look at money that was thrown around yesterday, and it always happens, I know, but especially with how crazy transfer market's gone now, you see obscene amounts of money. I mean, you do anyway, but you know, I think you get the old people panic buying and inflated prices purely because it's quite obvious that these teams that are trying to sign the players, the big name players, they're desperate. They're not desperate, but you know that. There's more urgency about it, shall we say? So, like I say, it'll never
what was
stop.
It was spent by Premier League teams this window? 1.4 billion or something.
Something around that, yeah.
Ridiculous sums of money.
I mean, the one that stuck out for me on deadline day was Mamadou Sakho, £25 million. These are average footballers that we're talking about here, and it's just obscene. £25 million for you know.
£25 million for a player who 18 months ago reminded you of Sol Bamba.
Yeah. Still does, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Because the thing is with Sakho, I mean, don't get me wrong, he was actually really good for Palace when he went on loan last season. He did play really well.
Yeah.
But there were times when he'd have ball at his feet and he had that same bomb scare thing of he'd like stand up ball. And
oh, yeah.
But yeah, you get a few of them. My favourite thing in the transfer window was I just saw a little thing and it said Arsenal turned down 10 million for Gibbs and decided 52 million for Thomas Lemar was too much, and ended up selling Gibbs for 7 million and failing with a 92 million pound bid for Thomas Lemar.
Jesus.
But yeah. Oh God, I'll tell you what, Arsenal fans have been annoying online. Oh, it's so awful. Try supporting like us or Portsmouth for
yeah.
You know, or one of these clubs. There's so many that are so worse off. You don't know you're born.
My heart bleeds for you, you know, that you've only spent £50 million on a striker. My heart bleeds for you.
Right, well, on to we'll preview the next 3 games, which will take us up to a Millwall game, which should be the day before our next recording. I've just had a realisation, actually, lads, about, you know, when people say, oh, what would you rather, England win the World Cup or Leeds get promoted and stuff like that? You always hear that question in pubs and stuff like that.
Yep.
Well, it's just occurred to me, England are playing right now and none of us have even noticed.
Yeah, I really, really couldn't care less about that national team at the moment. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If someone could offer me England winning World Cup or Leeds getting promoted this year, they wouldn't even finish the sentence.
Yeah.
Club before country every time.
Yeah. No, it literally just occurred to me.
If they offered you Ireland to win the World Cup?
It depends if they'd let me put a bet on it first.
Yeah, it's a fair point. But anyway, obviously we've got us predictions league. I thought I'd give a quick update of where we stand. Actually, obviously we've had 7 games, including 2 cup games. Connie's top on 15 points. He's had 5 correct results and 1 correct score, so 5 2-pointers and 1 5-pointer. KC's second, 13 points, 4 correct results, 1 correct score. And I'm bringing up the rear on 12 points with 6 correct results, but I haven't had a correct score, and that's knackered me.
When we're talking about the season predictions as well, you know how we said top goal scorer? Now, I could be, correct me if I'm wrong here, are we including cup or just league?
It was all in, I think. And you had...
My shout for Kamaru's not bad.
Well, the other thing is, that I was just going to check this with you, because technically our prediction was second top scorer.
Yep.
Chris Wood has gone, but does it stay second top scorer? Because that's what the category was.
I think we should. I think we should stay with it.
Just as a weird thing.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I just thought I'd check, because the reason why we said second is because we all had Chris Wood. But yeah, fine. Second top scorer. So if Kamaru comes out top scorer, you don't win.
Bugger.
Don't worry, Lasogga will be top scorer now anyway. But yeah, first game this Not this coming Saturday because we're recording on a Friday night, which is weird for us. Week on Saturday.
Yep.
For us, it'll be next Saturday by the time this comes out. Home to Burton. You look at the games we've played and the 3 games we've got to come. 9 points, you would hope, for me, genuinely. But yeah, Burton at home. They've lost their 2 best players for this game because Jackson Irving's been sold to Hull.
Yeah.
Who's probably their actual best player, and Luke Murphy's not allowed to play against us, who is their sentimental best player. They're not much of a side. Didn't we all have them to finish bottom?
Yep.
In predictions? Yeah. They broke their signing record to get Liam Boyce off Ross County, who in pre-season did his anterior cruciate ligament. He's out for pretty much the entire season, which is a shame for him.
I feel sorry for him, but Jesus Christ Almighty, as a championship team, your record signings come from Ross County. Yeah, I know it's Burton, but still, come on.
Yeah. So they've signed that Joe Mason on loan from Wolves, who's got a decent record against us. But just when I saw the record signing Liam Boyce, it jumped into my head. Can you remember when he went to Werder Bremen when he was 19?
Yeah.
From Cliftonville?
Yeah.
And everyone was looking, going, what? It was when they had that weird spat of them, didn't they? Because there was him, there was Dale Jennings went from Tranmere to Bayern Munich.
Jesus Christ.
They were trying to find like the next big thing, and it just didn't work out.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, so that Joe Mason's a decent player. They've got a few ex-Leagues players, obviously. They've got the Murphy on loan who can't play. They've got Stephen Warnock, Luke Varney.
Varney Esther,
yeah. They've got a bit of pace up front because they've got Lloyd Dyer on one wing. They've got Sean Scannell. Where did he go from Huddersfield?
I think he's on loan from Huddersfield.
Is he still there? They never sold him.
I think he may have had a couple of loan moves, possibly. Or I could be wrong, but he's on loan at Burton from Huddersfield.
All right, cool. And Marvin Sordell as well, who was rated something like a few years ago, but it just didn't quite work out.
Yeah, I think he had injuries and all, didn't he, to be fair.
Yeah, but anyway, they've got 4 points from 5 games. They have got through to the third round at League Cup because they beat Cardiff in the second round, which was a pretty good result for them.
Yeah.
They beat Birmingham for their only win, and they got a draw in the last game against Sheffield Wednesday, 1-1. Joe Mason scored in his debut to equalise. But when I look at their team at home, if we turn up, we'll batter these.
Definitely.
When you think their team, to me, looks at best as good as it was last season, and I actually think it looks a little bit worse than they did last season.
Yeah.
And we beat them 2-0 at home last season when we didn't have much at all, like De Caro was playing. And
yeah.
So I'm going to go that we win this game 3-0.
Another clean sheet.
Yeah, another clean sheet.
I'm going to say 2-0. Again, another clean sheet.
I'm going to make it a full house with clean sheets, and you've took the scoreline I wanted, Jack. I'm going 3-0 as well.
It's really weird. I can't believe that's the first time that's happened.
Yeah.
But 2 of us have gone for the same score. Yeah, when you look at their team, I just don't see where they're going to hurt us.
No. Q, like you say now, Q the 4-0 beating.
Yeah. Q an absolute hammering. The next one, the following Tuesday, these have also got 4 points from 5 games. And only one place above them in 20th. But they have had a very strong end to the transfer window. Birmingham at home with fucking wheeler dealer Harry Redknapp.
Oh.
Fucking mag.
I'm not a fucking wheeler dealer, I'm a fucking football manager, you But no, they've signed who to me is one of before we signed a load of really good wingers, a player that I really wanted. They've signed Hotter from Brentford.
Yeah.
It's between 6 and 7 million. And I think he's a great player.
Especially at that price. Even though it's in Championship, it's not. It's proven in this league. He's scored goals for, barring the couple of good years they had when they first came up and they had a bit of momentum. Brentford have the run at Mill team out there at this level is not goals in for them. So, yeah, the other signings are solid as well.
They're not looking good at the moment, and anything to heap some misery on Harry Redknapp I'm more than happy with because I can't stand the man. Ideally I think we should be getting a few more goals from this.
Saying that though, they have got a player who me and Jack have spoke about last season a bit. Who were on loan at Blackburn, Sam Gallagher, young lad at Southampton, good player. I like him.
He was one of the ones I wouldn't have minded us taking a chance on at one stage.
Yeah.
He was a good player. But to be honest, I didn't actually realise that they'd done it to this extent. But Birmingham have done to Brentford what Norwich did to us.
Yeah, pretty much.
In the last 2 days at transfer window, they signed the best attacking mid, Hotter. They signed Maxine Collin, the right back, and their best centre back in Harley Dean. Signed all three of them and just left them completely screwed. But they've got a lot of good players. They should be doing a lot better than they are. Really, they've got David Stockdale in goal, who all Leeds fans like because he's a massive Leeds fan, and every interview mentions, I do want to go play for Leeds at some point. I really do want to go play for Leeds at some point.
They've not got that many strikers, which is surprising for Harry Redknapp.
No, for them, they haven't. They've got a lot of midfielders instead this time.
Well, they let Clayton Donaldson go yesterday. He went to Sheffield United.
Oh, did he? I missed that. Yeah. He's another one that, if it had been the Leeds United of last year, we'd have probably ended up signing.
Is it Jacques Magoma that's got a few goals against us?
Yeah, he's still there. Didn't he have a failed trial at Leeds at one point?
When we were in League One, he wasn't good enough for us, and he dropped down to League Two.
He went to Burton in League Two and then went away to...
He went to Ireland at one point because he played against... it might have been for Shamrock Rovers. I think he might have played against Liverpool in like a Champions League qualifying round or something.
Jesus.
Yeah. But they've got a few good players. Carl Jenkinson on loan from Arsenal, who... I know that people take piss out of him when he was at Arsenal a little bit, but he's good in Championship. Ex-Leeds players, I think they've only got one off the top of my head. Old violent bastard Paul Robinson.
38.
Yeah, 38. Yeah, as far as I'm aware, he's the only one, unless I missed one when I was having a glance earlier. Craig Gardner, who's a good player at this level.
Yeah.
He loves
Never looks fit, but
he loves the Birmingham area, does Craig Gardner.
Yeah.
Che Adams and all.
I like him.
Yeah.
I think he's a good player. And he also scored a hat-trick against Crawley in Cup, and as they're managed by that Australian prick.
Ah, yeah, him.
It was good to see. They've got that Jeremy Boga on loan from Chelsea as well. He's rated quite highly.
Yeah, there's good things
So,
come
like
out.
all Chelsea youth players, he'll have 6 loan spells and then move for fucking £15 million to Buckham.
Then Man City will sign him for 50 million 2 years later.
It's just funny looking through Birmingham's squad at the moment on their website, and all the pictures are taken during pre-season games, so they all look absolutely knackered, like 10 minutes into a game. A couple of them not looking in the best of shapes. Paul Robinson is still just a big lad.
Didn't he model our glow-in-the-dark shirt?
If he did, I don't remember that.
I'm sure he modelled a kit for us, at some point.
I hope not. He only played like 10 games.
I could...
It wouldn't shock me. It's Leeds United. But...
Yeah. Dan, he probably did a better job than Billy Painter.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
Although, to be honest, Casey, you shouldn't worry about players looking out of shape when they're managed by Harry Redknapp. Can you remember that Spurs team? I mean, I know it wasn't his fault because he took that over. When they were all, one day Ramos that were manager when they were all really out of shape.
Well, Mido just
when
looked like
Mido and Paul Robinson in goal and
yeah. Dan, it didn't help either because they had Kappa at that time and all with skin tight kits. It didn't help matters.
But yeah, they've in league not been going too well. They beat Bristol City earlier in the season, but the last game they got beat 2-0 by Reading. Not looking that great, but yeah, they have added a lot of players since then. But it's another game where I think we'll win. I think Vissel will have a clean sheet run goes though. So I'm going to go for my old staple, 3-1.
I'm going to go 2-1 Leeds.
I'm going to be really optimistic about this one, and I'm going to say 4-1.
9-0.
Not that optimistic, but 4-1.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, when you went for 5-2 in Cup, you nearly got it.
I mean, you said to me, I totally forgot you'd gone for that scoreline against Newport, and you were like, it's not far off here.
Well, at half time, I even said, well, it doesn't look like the 5-2 prediction will be coming in.
Yeah. And as last game for this podcast, Leeds away at fucking Millwall.
Fucking call me out, you slag.
Well, as with everyone, I fucking hate Millwall. Everyone hates Millwall.
Jack.
Fucking devious, scum, racist bastards.
Jack, as the man who works at a bookmaker, what odds can you give us on Millwall producing a turkey flag and doing some cutthroat gestures?
It's around about 1 to 10.
This is the club, by the way, that's won the EFL Family Club of the Year.
Again?
Just put that out there for you all. This is a club whose fans were on national TV knocking shit out of each other at Wembley.
Yeah.
The fucking morons.
Well, this would be. I'd love to win this game. I fucking hate them, but we don't have the best record away at Millwall.
We normally draw a lot of.
We're
from what I
not
can
bad at
remember.
home to them, but away at Millwall we've struggled a bit. But they have signed one player that I think that I do rate. They've got that Conor McLaughlin, that right back from Fleetwood.
Yeah.
Northern Ireland's right back. I didn't see much of him for Fleetwood, obviously, but I saw quite a lot of Northern Ireland games.
Yeah.
Because they were always on at a different time to other ones, so I ended up watching them, and he always looked pretty good. They signed James Meredith off Bradford, left back. He
I've
looked
never
all
been
right.
a big fan of James Meredith.
His shit defensively is okay.
I used to go to a few Bradford games with friend of the podcast, Mark Young, and his dad, who's Bradford City fans. I was never massively impressed with Meredith, but the stories that came out from the last couple of years are that he's looked impressive, but it never really did it for me anyway.
Yeah, they've got a couple of ex-Leeds. They've got young Tom Elliott, who I still call young Tom Elliott, even though he's probably about 26 now, and he's had a spell in like Iceland and stuff.
I wonder if he's still that 6 foot blonde guy.
Oh yeah, there's one for fans of like FIFA 12 or something where Tom Elliott was a 24-year-old white blonde centre attacking mid. Was a very odd one. Yeah, they signed him off Wimbledon, fresh off his partnership with Polian then.
Yep.
Who's gone to Bradford. He's been doing all right at Bradford, actually, as Don Polian.
We all said that he probably would,
yeah.
wouldn't we? At that.
Same friend of the podcast, Mark Young, has been texting me saying, I really like Don Polian, he's great. And they've got one other ex-Leeds player. They've got the shift.
God.
Steve Morrison.
That winger, Steve Morrison.
Leeds. Yeah, I'm just going to say Leeds winger, Steve Morrison.
Yeah, Steve Morrison's weird because he'll always get a really good reception from Leeds fans, but it'll be ironic.
Yeah.
He did try. He tried his bollocks off. He just wasn't very good.
Replaced Vecchio, so he was on a hiding to nothing.
Yeah, but let's be honest though. You know that he is the club legend that we all got told that he would become.
In fairness, Neil Warnock was not wrong.
No.
He said Leeds fans will look back on him and go, wow, Neil Warnock signed him. And I do. I go, wow, Neil Warnock signed him.
I don't know what I'd rather have got for Vecchio, Steve Morrison or a handful of magic beans. I couldn't choose between the two.
I'm not going to lie, I'd have still had optimism on the Magic Beans after 3 games. I didn't have that with Steve Morrison.
No, he was shite. There's no way around it.
Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, but these are another one. 17, 5 points from 5 games.
You look at it on paper, we should be thumping them.
We should be winning all these games.
Yeah.
Although their last game, admittedly, Norwich have been poor this season, but they did batter Norwich 4-0.
Yeah.
And Norwich have not been playing well, but they've got a decent squad. They must have played well to get 4-0 against them.
Yeah, they've still got quality in there, haven't they? Even though they're down there at the moment, you look at Norwich and you think that they've lost players, yeah, but they've got enough quality in there where if they turn it up a couple of notches, they'll soon start climbing. So yeah.
Go on then, Jack. What's your prediction for this? And you go first.
I have this awful feeling that they're just going to come out and kick lumps out of us all game. And for that reason, I'm going to say 0-0.
Con?
But we should win. We should win.
For a similar reason as Jack, I'm going to say a 1-1 draw. I can see them nicking a goal against us just because of atmosphere at their place. And I'm going to go for a draw. Although, again, like you've just said, Jack, we should be winning.
I'm going to go for ultimate optimism. And I'm going to say we're going to win 2-0. I'm saying we're getting 9 points in these 3 games.
I genuinely think that out of these games, we should get 9 points.
Yeah,
But I think the pessimist in me just won't allow me to predict 9 points.
It's not only that, it's just... It's Millwall. They've just got a knack of getting under the skin, haven't they? Like you said, especially at their place, they've got a knack of getting under a skin and nicking a goal. And as much as, you look at it and you think we should be doing it, but I can just see us coming away with a point. An hard-fought point. So
anyway, for the Burton game, do you think we will just pick the same 11 that started against Forest?
If they're all fit, yeah.
I agree that we should, but I don't think we will.
I could see Lasogga getting a run out.
That's what I think's going to happen. I think Lasogga will start.
I think it's harsh on Roof, but I think if he is going to be here and we've given him number 9 shirt, that all the signs point to that he's going to be the focal point, and which I get, he's there for that reason. But personally, I'd start him on bench, give Roof a run out, and give him half an hour against Burton. See how he gets on.
The thing is, I'll tell you what, we're going to have a very attacking bench. If we play Roof up front, in all likelihood, on the bench, we're going to have Lasogga, Kibitsky, and Grutt.
Yep.
Well, that's 3 subs are centre forwards immediately.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have Dallas.
Yeah.
He's got to be on there. So what we'll have 3 strikers. We'll have Lasogga, Grot, Kibitsky, Dallas, Vieira. Are any of the defenders going to be fit?
Well, shot.
I wouldn't have thought so.
Because if Pennington's not fit, it'll be Shaughnessy and Lonergan.
Yeah.
It's a very attacking bench.
And
when the only other centre back on it is a midfielder, really.
Have we mentioned Cleach either?
I don't think he'll make bench.
No.
Not at the minute.
No.
Unless they don't even put Kibitsky on bench, and then he probably will.
Yeah. I could see that now you've said it being I think it'd be the more sensible option at the moment. I'd like to see him get a run out sooner rather than later, but I just think at the moment it'd be the sensible option.
If he was going to pick a game with a really attacking bench, it probably would be the Burton game of the 3. That should be the easiest one, in theory.
Yeah.
But, well, that's all the predictions. It's really nice to be talking about Leeds at the minute, because everything feels great. Drinking and talking about Leeds because it's fun, rather than drinking because you're talking about Leeds.
To forget talking about Leeds.
Yeah, we're in a good position so far, playing nice football. What could possibly go wrong? Millwall, that's what could go wrong.
Millwall and Steve Morrison.
Yeah. Well, but anyway, that'll do for episode 5 of the Mighty Whites podcast. I've been Jack Wobshaw.
I've been Chris. Connie. Bye.
One of them. Casey.
Yeah. Alright, cool. This will go up on Through It All Together at THRView It All LUFC. We're at Mighty Whites Pod on Twitter, MightyWhitesPodcast.com, and you'll see us plugging the hell out of this, because this time we've got a week before the first game instead of 10 hours, which it was last time. So you'll see us being really annoying on Twitter and begging you to listen to it. Anyone who does listen to it and actually likes it, tell your Leeds supporting friends that it's good. Because the main thing we think with this is you just need to get people to give it a go.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my little beg. Anyway, thanks a lot. See ya. Bye.
Bye. Who's eating crisps?